Hello. Hi.
Hello, hello.
Good evening.
Oh,
Hi,
Or
good evening.
afternoon, wherever you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or good afternoon or good morning for some people. I'm really glad that you've joined us. We have Chef Rikku here, who's a friend, but also an amazing talent, a Michelin-star chef, earning across different restaurants and creating amazing, unbelievable art through his food, like immersive art experiences that is experimental, floating food, all the craziest, coolest things.
wow.
And and he has tuned in for a while to some of our lives, and at one point basically started to like had a few questions, and I said, man, let's talk about this on the live stream. This is amazing. And he's like, I'd love to, let's do it.
Yeah.
And here we are. So welcome,
Thank
Rikku.
you.
It's great.
Ramblings of a creative.
Yeah, exactly,
Yeah,
exactly.
how did you meet each other?
So actually, it was in Orlando. We were at a Springs.
Mhm.
We share a mutual friend. Actually, a couple of mutual friends. One of the mutual friends is actually my wife now, Megan. If
Mhm.
you're watching, I'm sure she's not. Yeah. And Sabrina, actually, who's a very lovely German lady that we all know and share a common interest with. Yeah.
Yeah, know and love, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we met. And
Everyone
then
loves her.
now,
Yes. By the way, she reminded me very much of Aviva, my wife. Every time I
Oh,
see,
yeah,
really, she's like always, we say, you are just like Aviva.
yeah,
so she's very
yeah,
straight to the point, right?
Yeah. Very
yeah,
straight and nice person and
yeah.
beautiful and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. And today the topic really is, even though Riku is a chef, it has nothing to do with business or the kitchen or cooking, but it has to do with space and space being here on planet Earth, extraterrestrials. People talk about aliens. Where are the aliens? There's a whole discussion to be had about that and the connection to the physical universe and spirituality. And I mean, you have the questions. I'll kind of let you guys take it away. I'll chime in occasionally,
Just before,
but we'll see how the conversation goes.
Okay.
Gary, just before that, let's check if everyone hears us, if the quality is good.
Yes,
Do we look
yes,
amazing or super amazing?
we look amazing. Anna said, hello, I can hear you well and see you even better. Looking forward to this live. Hi, Anna. And Angela's here. She said, perfect timing. You guys perfect timing, guys, just finished teaching. So that's perfect.
Nice.
Awesome.
So yes. All right.
Okay.
Oh, and Mariah's here. Everything's
Hey,
great. Awesome. She said,
Okay.
yes, perfect. Hi, guys.
Signing in.
Yes, awesome. Banu's here. Great.
Okay.
Okay, Riku,
okay.
take it away.
So first of all, this isn't a random subject. It's not just like we picked it out of an archive and went, today we're going to talk about aliens. So why aliens? I'm sat here with all my NASA gear on, etc. So
Yeah.
the point in this discussion, for one, is about the sort of ever and the sort of like expansive subject group that extraterrestrials convey, as it were, whether on Earth or just in the universe in general. And why my interest in it? Part of why I float food and do all these weird sort of immersive experiences with food, as it were. Part of that is my chemistry degree and the degree that I have in chemistry. And why do I have a degree in chemistry but I'm a chef? Well, I was working as a chef to support my studies, and I just ended up in the right place at the right time in the right kitchens, in Michelin-star kitchens, and ended up staying there. It became my most sort of beloved passion, as it were. But before that, or during, I was studying chemistry, specifically the spectrumization of atmospheric light. So if you look for a telescope, you have a look at an exoplanet or a planet somewhere in the cosmos, and the light that passes through the atmosphere will give you an indication of the chemical composition of that planet and what gases are sort of situated there and what have you. And that'll give you some indication of whether it will harbor life or not. It's as simple as that, really. So that's my connection to the subject, as it were, and I've always been passionate about it. So I want to start with a little quote from my favorite geezer out in space, fictional geezer, as it were. So when you
Amazing.
eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Now,
Again. Tell me again.
okay. So when you eliminate the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be the truth. Now, first, is that a correct statement?
Obviously, it's nonsense.
It's complete nonsense.
Of course, because there's nothing that is impossible. So if there's nothing that is impossible, how can you eliminate something that do not exist?
Therefore, not being logic at all. Yeah.
And what is logic? And what is logic? Logic is basically limited to the universe laws that you operate in. So what's logical in this universe is definitely not logical in another universe.
Yeah.
And what is truth? Truth means something that has no continuation, that do not exist. So it's total, just whoever wrote that obviously transmits, like put on a big banner, I don't understand what I say.
Absolutely.
Why do you say the truth does not exist, Meir?
Because truth means the moment of creation, something that has not changed. If you change it, it's already a lie, yes? So something that does not change cannot continue.
Yeah.
In order for something to continue, it has to contain a change. If the atom will take a holiday tomorrow, there will not be material here because the change is what creates the continuation.
Yeah.
So truth is
something. That was having a discussion, and your perception of the exact same moment of when something happened was going to be completely different from mine, and the stories that will be told about that. It's kind of like a Chinese whisper, or it evolves.
Change. There's a change. The truth, because we are in a universe that change, there could not be truth other than the moment of creation. So the moment of creation is not physical. So anything that you see physical is obviously an illusion. It's a lie. Illusion is a lie that you believe in.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Or a prestige. Yeah, for sure. Okay.
Amazing.
That was a good one to start with, I guess. But
yeah,
now that we killed this guy, let's go to the next one.
Next victim.
Okay, so there was a lot of questions.
Sorry, just one thing. There's lots of comments. So, Bobby, if you can just look at the comments, because I want to be with the record full time. So you look at the comments and you will jump in with the comments whenever necessary.
Okay, so for anyone watching, no, I'm looking and I'm reading your comments, and wherever possible, I'll put them in. Maybe not everyone, but I'll do what I can.
Okay,
cool.
Let's continue.
Go for it.
So the first question, Meir, is the most obvious one, I guess. Do aliens, extraterrestrials, other beings from other dimensions, worlds, or universes exist, and have they, well, I guess that's the first one, and the second part of that is, have they visited Earth? Are they here on Earth?
Okay, good. So the short answer is they never visited Earth. They're here all the time.
Yeah.
Like I'm not visiting Cape Town, I'm in Cape Town. So who is visiting? We are visiting. We are dying every 70, 80 years. So we're the visitors.
Sure.
So they are here. That's number one. And to really realize what does it mean they are here, because you will think that when we say they are here, that we need to know who is they. Because when I say it is, what does it mean it? How will you define an ET?
Yeah.
So an ET is just a being that is at a higher intelligence or higher abilities, or he's willing to, actually the more accurate definition will be, is a being that is willing to demonstrate more of his native abilities. That's all. It's exactly like us, but that being is willing to demonstrate more of his native abilities So it seems like he's a kind of god or someone different.
Okay.
Now, usually, because they are willing to demonstrate more of their ability, they usually natively don't use bodies like ours, because our bodies are quite fragile.
Yeah.
And what they're using usually is dolls, which is less fragile.
What do you mean by a doll?
Sorry?
What do you mean by a doll?
Like a doll, like something that look like a body, but don't have all the limitation of a body. If you
So like
take the body
official,
you move it from the temperature of 36.6 degrees Celsius to 40, like you have a second-hand body. If
Yeah.
you if you take the body and you just throw it against the wall at I don't know 20 miles per hour, not much.
it will
It's
break.
Hmm.
They
Yeah.
have a much more robust bodies, but those bodies are not built like our bodies. They don't build from cells, etc. The disadvantage of those bodies and why spirits got involved in human bodies is because those bodies are our bodies give sensations, and they're also nice to look at. So our bodies give sensations, and mechanical bodies, dulled bodies, are just don't have this part of the sensation. And the
Okay.
reason spirit started to deal with bodies is because the spirit is good and very powerful, and they saw this body walking around there, and they saw, oh, that's a very nice thing, and they just touched the body, and the body died, because we are so powerful and we didn't really realize how fragile are those things, because we are used to dolls' bodies. And then they say, oh, wow, that's really bad. So they decided, the spirit decide that it needs to protect the body. And what we're doing here is actually protecting bodies. This is the general viewpoint of the spirit, to protect this body, and which deteriorate to serving the bodies. And today, if an alien will come, he will think that we are serving dogs, not even our bodies, because they look at people and they pick up the shit of a dog and everything. So obviously the dog is the boss.
We work for our dogs.
So
Yeah.
on that basis, are there more than one of these, or one type, one variety of these dolls? These, I guess, exoskeleton-y sort of fake bodies that are inhabited by alien spirit, or are they the alien themselves?
So the spirit can take any kind of body. Yes,
Okay.
when you have higher ability, you can take any kind of body. Any person that become very, very successful on this planet, but extremely successful. I'm talking about Rockefeller. I'm talking about those kind of
Yeah.
people are actually occupied by those bodies. They look like a normal person, but actually they are occupied by those kind of spirits, not bodies. And the bodies that themselves, a normal spirit will operate a few, not one.
Okay.
The idea that we can operate one body is just because we are so dedicated to protecting bodies. So we deteriorated over time into protecting one body, because we consider that we cause such a damage to bodies, so now we're protecting bodies. And if you look at the general viewpoint of society, is that, oh, health is the most important thing. It's definitely not. If body is just a robot, it's just a doll, and if you don't die every 60 years, if you live, if the spirit is the important thing and not the vehicle, not the car, not the body, imagine that there is a person that totally dedicated to protecting his car. He's taking the car all over, feeding the car, cleaning the car, putting it in the house, locking the door from inside so the car will not run away.
Mhm.
all kind of nonsense. Imagine that the body is a car and someone behave like that for a car. It would be cuckoo. That's how cuckoo it is.
Okay.
The
So
attention, the insanity of putting so much attention on the body is totally crazy. If anyone recall any past lives, one of the first thing that he will realize that bodies are expendable, like a laptop or a phone that fell and broke. Okay, I get a new phone. What's the big deal?
It has a sell by date, right?
Sorry?
It has a sell by date.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it's expired. And
Yeah.
from time to time, Apple come with a new body. But the nice thing, the difference between a cell phone to a body they give you for free.
Yeah. It costs you 50,000 rand.
Whoever selling bodies is not Jewish.
No, for sure. I might know. I'm not going to name who they are, but I might know a few guys who sell a few bodies. But so on that note, like where do they come from, and how many different varieties are there that we know of?
Okay, so generally, right now on this planet, there is a war that's going on, a hidden war between a race that called the Markabians
Okay.
and another race, which is, or a group of planets that called the Confederacy. And there's a war that's going on, and there are many races, many type of bodies, many type of groups, but the spirit is the same spirit.
Right.
The thing that run it is the same spirit, and the reason that you have so many races and so many type of bodies, etc., is the basic purpose of the spirit is to play a game, because it's so powerful. The spirit is so powerful that it's boring. If you are God and you can do anything just by your will, and you have no competition, no nothing, it's extremely boring, because you know everything is predictable.
Yeah, for
Everything
sure.
you have, everything you don't want, you don't have. You can go backward, forward, you have time, you don't have time, you can create any universe, any laws. It's totally boring. So what the spirit is doing is it reduces its knowingness, and by that reducing its willingness to apply its ability. And the more you reduce your knowingness, the more problems you will have. And by having problems, you create a game. What does it mean, a game? A game means that there's me and there's some kind of a barrier, the other team, and
You
I
have
need
to
to overcome the other team. And now I have a game.
Yeah.
But if the other team is a group of children, it's not really a game. So I need to tie my hands behind my back. So I make it more difficult for me.
Okay.
So I reduce my knowingness, I reduce my abilities, or my willingness to demonstrate my abilities.
Yeah.
just
Okay.
in order to have a game, just to make it a challenge, in other words.
Exactly.
It's like selecting level hard on Street
Yeah.
Fighter. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
the more sort of handicaps you have,
Yeah.
the harder. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, great. And then when it comes to things like greys, reptilians, all these sort of, do you want to call them races or particular types of extraterrestrial that people talk about? The Ebens, the Andromedaeans, the Syrians, the Nords, Mantis, all like hundreds.
There are many names of those people, but if you go to any one of those people that tell you that they are the greys, and if you ask them to define what is a gray, if I'll ask you to define what is a human being body, you will be able to define it for me.
For sure.
It's composed of cells, it has those parts, blah, blah, blah. Define for me a gray. You'll see that all those people, and I've tried, I've asked, what they can say with total certainty, they are gray. And that's more or less where the definition ends.
Yeah.
which mean, which mean that it's not really based on something that they have a definition for, so they don't really know it, but they do know it. So what happened is the spirit knows. The definition of the spirit is this thing that knows. And the spirit from time to time come up with something that has no reason at all, which is true, but it doesn't actually know.
Yeah.
So now the spirit will come and start to assert, oh, there are grays. There are grays. If you need to say there are grays, there are grays, there are grays, there are grays, probably from your viewpoint, they are not. Because
Gotcha.
if, no one will come and tell you, no one that knows Mercedes-Benz will come to you and say, you know that it's Mercedes-Benz. You know, there are all kind of Mercedes-Benz.
Yeah, of
Because, you know,
course.
yes. So
Yeah.
if someone comes and say, well, you know, there's Mercedes-Benz and there's an E series and C series and
And
S
G,
series,
great one, a
yeah,
white one.
and AMG. Did you hear about AMG? If you really know about it, you will not have to. It will be like, of course, everyone knows about it. But when you don't know it, when you don't have it, when you just hear about it, you never owned an SL600, but you want to, and you heard about it, and you cannot define what is an SL600. You'll talk about it a lot.
But you know what it is. Yeah. No, I hear you. Okay.
But
That is-
the spirit knows that there is something there. Lots of what people say is just nonsense. It's
Yeah.
just really science fiction. Not even science fiction, because science fiction is usually accurate. So it's a cheap science fiction.
Yeah. Sure. That one of my questions was actually, or one of my sort of statements for that is science fiction the gateway to science fact, as it were, you know? And yeah, I completely agree. Yeah.
Which science fiction, but usually what happens is that when you take someone that don't hear about the name, but actually know and can give more and more data, which means he recover his ability to uh, see or to recreate his past lives.
Yeah.
At that moment, what will happen, the guy will have total certainty and he will be able to give you the definition and in exact manner. So, for example, if someone will ask me, okay, so can you please define for me what does it mean teleportation? I will tell him, yes, of course. It's controlling of the interchanges of spaces. And how do you create it? Oh, you create it by collapsing divine the points, put them together, move them, and expanding them again. And how do you do that? I'll give you the whole thing step by step how to do that. And it will be very clear for me, and I will not have the urge to prove it.
Yeah.
If I have something that I cannot define, and I don't have, and I have the urge to prove it, it's obviously that I don't know it. People just making up names
Yeah, for
because
sure.
look, I know about past lives, I know about ETs, and there are those, and the names are always complicated. So they come up with those names that no one can say, and the more difficult the name is, the more real it becomes.
Yeah, sure.
It's total nonsense.
Andromeda sector of Sirius 4, and that's what they're called because of that huge piece of space. We must name them after that, as it were. Yeah, no, I hear. So
just ask them to define the word space.
yeah, no, 100%.
No problem. What does it mean, space? Just give me the definition of the
people.
space.
I think what most people would
the word space, so they are within a space.
Yeah, but we're always within a space, always, whichever space it is.
It's actually our possessions are always within a space. We are not. We're the creator of the space.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Possession is always within a space. My body, a possession. My body is within a space. I am not within the space because an iPhone cannot create an iPhone.
Yeah.
You need something external. You need a higher level of beingness or higher level of knowingness to create an iPhone. That's why the Big Bang is a big bullshit, because you can take as much things as you want, explode them as many times as you want, and you will not get an iPhone.
No, you won't. It needs to be of intelligent design, right?
Exactly. You
Otherwise, you
need
just hit.
one
You
Steve
just
Jobs.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
What did you say, Riku? You broke up. Otherwise, what?
Otherwise, you're just you're just hitting things with a baseball bat and expecting, an outcome. Yeah,
Exactly. One
yeah,
quick question here from Angela. She said, "Does this mean that we, as spirits on Earth, are actually like participants in a game?" Which that's the idea exactly.
Yeah. Yes. So life is
it's
a
a game.
game. And like in any game, you can be the designer of the game, you can be a player, you can be a broken piece, you can be a spectator, or you can be the effect of the game. Most of the people on earth right now are just the effect of the game. They're not even a spectator because they don't even see what's in front of them. Ask an average person, you drove from your home to the office, what did you see? They didn't see 1% of what's actually happening around them.
Yeah, they don't know
So
that they're in the. That's why.
spectator that
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know if you heard, Abba, but Riku said they don't realize that they're basically in the matrix, which is exactly the point.
yeah,
yeah,
they don't realize that that they're in the matrix. Yes, there's a whole subject about the matrix
yeah.
separately. I like the matrix.
If you know us well, by the way, you know that we love the Matrix. I don't know if you know Riku, but my brother's name is Neo.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
After Neo, after the
yeah,
Neo, right?
yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I love the matrix. Yes,
That's really cool.
it's very good. It needs a little bit of subtitles, but it's generally very good.
Brilliant. Is there a lot of deja vu in Neo's life?
There's,
Um,
most people on earth are just agents. You know, agent is anyone can become an agent.
yeah, for sure.
Most people on earth are just people that are their bodies waiting to be served by the agents. And you can see that you can take the most amazing person that looks to you like your best friend, and something happen and he become an agent. He become your enemy in 2 seconds.
Yeah,
Seconds. So most people on earth are way below spectators. They just total effect. What does it mean, total effect? Waiting to become an agent.
yeah. They're existing as a piece to be manipulated to fit into whatever the Matrix agenda is. Yeah, for sure, in some kind of manipulative state. Now, on that subject, actually, is that part of the bigger makeup and also the makeup of the extraterrestrials, whatever sort of embodiment they are? Is that all part of that? And is the is the universal construct and Earth being a part of that, and those aliens being here and already existing here? So, what is the difference between the, I guess the spirit of the human and the spirit of the extraterrestrial, or is it the same? We're just embodying, if embodying is actually a thing, anyway, a different vessel. And is this by choice in some celestial sort of conscious process or unconscious process, or is this because we are alike but not the same?
Okay. I will explain the process. How did we get here? And it will make total sense. Okay. So imagine that you have super powerful beings. Okay. And those being super powerful beings are in a universe that do not compose of such a limited thing like the physical universe, plus and minus. This
Yeah,
is how complex we can get on the physical universe, plus and minus. More than that, it's too complicated.
yeah,
So imagine that there are not just three dimensions, not
hmm,
just the universe is not composed of twos, but imagine that you have a universe that composed of unlimited particles.
yeah,
Extremely complex, very amazing game, unbelievable.
yeah,
Okay? And the basic idea, the word universe is basically a set of laws. And anyone that come into a universe agrees that he's going to play by those rules. Now, over time, some beings find it boring, so they break the rules. When they break the rules, the group create a lower universe as a jail universe, and they throw the being into that jail universe. And the jail universe, all it is basically a simpler game where the being in that universe, their game is to get out of this jail.
Okay.
Okay, so they're using their power to get out of this jail,
We're
and they're
trying to level up.
yeah, that's their challenge. Yes, so this is their game, and then they're going up quite quickly at the beginning because they are still very powerful. But over billions of years, they more and more being moving to the second universe, to the jail universe, and the people or the beings in the top universe are very few left, and they are very alone, and everything is happening here. This is the party. This is hell, but there's a party here.
Yeah, of course.
And nothing happened. Yes, like it's beautiful, but nothing happens. So over time, those beings come down to this universe. They become the god of this universe because they know more. But those people realize that those beings suppressing them, so they throwing them to a lower universe. And then this process continue and continue, and there are different type of universes over time. There was the magic universe, there is the knowledge universe, there are different universes that you are getting deteriorated into. And eventually you come to this universe that right now called Earth, and there's a lower universe below that already forming. And in Earth, basically what you have is beings that are stripped of all the power and that total 100% effect. So the being is the same being, but the condition of that being has been deteriorated. And the lucky for the beings, the being never lose his ability. Never. The ability is still like in your native state.
Yeah.
What you lose is just your willingness to demonstrate this ability. And you don't lose it because you agreed. Every time you drop to another universe, it was done by agreement. It was a nice, fun game. But you deteriorated so much that at one point, you lost your self-determinism. You don't have any more power of choice. And now it becomes a jail. So this universe, the Earth or the physical universe, is a jail universe controlled totally for one purpose, to jail very powerful beings.
Okay. And then the purpose of the jailing, who is or what is jailing us, as it were, to stop us being the powerful beings that we are? Why are we being oppressed, and why are we being jailed to not be able to be these celestial powerful beings anymore? Why are we being down leveled? What's going on?
So it started as a game where you have here a universe. A universe is just a set of laws. You agree to the laws, and at one point, because you are very, very powerful, it becomes boring for you. So you break the laws to make life interesting. And then you know what's the problem with the 10 Commandments? That you get caught. The problem is not the 10 Commandments. You don't know the 11 Commandments.
That's the problem with rules in general, right?
You never get caught. So if you get caught, you get dropped one, and it's okay for you because you agree that if it's happening, so you drop one, and the game become okay. Fine, I'm going to use all my smart to go up again. But every time you drop down, every time you go into a universe, you agree to give up some of your knowingness. Okay. You agree because otherwise there's no game.
Yeah.
And so over time, those beings that are now in control basically say, okay, now these guys can be used, and they're using us for mining. They're using beings all around the different universes for mining, for robbing other planets, for creating planets, for manipulating. So basically, what's the purpose right now is to create the beings, to make them dumb enough so they can have one job that they will do for billions of years, and every time you will replace a doll for them, and there will be you will have a new body, and you will do one job. You will move one thing from one place to another. So basically building a massive machine from beings. And why is it so good? Because beings have abilities that machines don't have,
Yeah.
and they can operate machines. So the dolls are the machines, and that's where we're going to. And if you will look at AI, if you look at the deterioration of religion,
100%.
education,
Yeah.
nutrition, drugs, etc., it's a whole plan that designed to get the being to agree to be controlled to such a degree that they can do one thing at a time. That's it, just one thing. They're having a doll body that knows how to screw one screw for the next 70,000 years, 70 million years. So it's
Okay.
not the situation. We have to handle it, and that's what we are doing.
And how do we get out of that then? How do we stop being controlled by these extraterrestrials that are or higher planes of existence that are basically controlling us and trying to get us down even lower? I guess they're trying to knock us down as much as possible, because the more handicaps we have, the more easier it is to control us, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
The way to handle it is to use something that is very fortunate that we have. There are two things. Number one, every single being is good. Every single being is good. A being in his nature, its innate ability, cannot do something bad, because creation is plus; it's not a minus. Creation is good.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And number two, the interesting about the truth is that the truth stops something. If you want to dismantle something, you find the truth, and the truth stop it. So in order to remove the lies, the more truth you will find, the less lies you will have, the more you will regain your native ability. So the process of learning, in my definition, is the process of deleting lies, not adding data. Because if I will want to add data for you, basically I will lie to you, I will say you don't know, but the being do know.
Yeah.
You know, you just need to remove the blinders. So if I remove the blinders, I restore you. How do you remove the blinders? Pieces of truth. Every piece of truth that you actually make your own, not that you hear from me or from someone, that you somehow heard something and you realize it's your cognition, it's your realization. Everything that you can realize as truth, you will know that something goes away and you have more of you.
Yeah. Because the truth is the source, right?
In your past,
Their information.
you know yourself.
Okay. Okay.
You broke up slightly, Rikku, with your question. I think what I'm noticing is if one person's talking and the other talks, it mutes the one or the other, just so you know. But so what did you say there at the end, Rikku? Something about the truth is...
So I said so the truth is the source. It's the very core of everything, and then anything gets added to it is the lie. Basically, it's the cloud of information around it, sort of put there to distract you from the core or the truth, the centralized truth there, and that is there in place to oppress.
You can say that the problem people have is the reliance on experience, on the past. The more you rely on your experience, the less you will know.
Yeah. But you're
So
not
the more
finding
you rely on lies.
Yeah. Yeah.
So on that note, there's a couple of questions that will kind of be good to ask at the moment. First of all, Angela said, Meir, this is brilliant. You remove the blinders and the truth that you can verify. Yeah, amazing. And she also said, totally agree regarding dumbing of humanity. I've seen what we teach our children. It's been changed. All they want is people who can just about read and write and follow orders.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, amazing. And also we have user Un Brasa that said, how do we upgrade to a better universe? Which you in a way covered here. The truth.
Yeah, the truth.
Yeah.
The truth, do thought always set you free. So the less you rely on your past, the less you believe the physical universe, the better you get.
Mm-hmm. And William said, what operations are they, referring to ETs, are they currently running here on Earth? I'm sure the government only cares about the confinement of planet Earth. What effects do you expect to happen as a result? And what are the observable patterns?
The observable pattern, any kind of what you see as disasters that happening on Earth, any kind of unusual earthquakes, any kind of wars, any kind of disagreement, it's all created, directed, engineered by, at the moment, specific group that that wants to turn the human race into slaves.
Yeah.
The Mercabians, they've done it many times. Anyone that will be able to go and recall past lives will actually recall it. They built the whole planets, the whole series, the whole group of planets that they are running is built on the idea that taking a planet, dumbing the people, or dumbing the beings, making them into robots, and then building a machine that used to mine and rob other people. The dramatization of that Markabian's activity is old Russia. Russia never produced anything. They just took over other countries, dumbed them down, and get them and raped the country that they took because they didn't produce. So that was the dramatization, the trying to unknowingly doing something similar to that, and it's been controlled. It didn't happen by mistake.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. And that's Regina asked, what are the goals of these groups of ETs, which I think you answered. Banu asked, can we look at a person and tell if he or she is an alien or from another race, or is that impossible because all spirits are the same?
Yeah, you can see. You can very much see, but you need to remove a few blinders, because if you will see it without handling the removal of a few blinders, there is a protective mechanism on the mind that will make sure that you will die the moment that you start to know. That's why there was no progress. Many beings in the past discovered truth, and they couldn't transfer it, or they've been fought by their own people and been killed by their own people, because the mind has a protective mechanism that makes sure that you will never discover the truth. And that's why the way to discover the truth is so long and winding. I can give you a piece of truth that if you just hear it, you will die on the spot. So that's what we are fighting against.
Okay. And I mean, they'd be considered the witches and wizards and mystics of the time. They knew a little bit too much, and they killed them. They burned them at the stake. It's history has shown that many times. And even when we look at sort of ancient civilizations and how they piece together knowledge, etc., the evidence that is there, it's incontrovertible to say that they've been here before or they've always been here, and this has happened multiple times, millions of times probably, throughout just Earth's history within the universe that it's in now. Yeah, for sure.
And just one thing, consider that from the viewpoint of a person, it's a long time. But if you look at the universe that expands at the rate that is expanding, 1 year of a person is not even a beep in comparison to 70 trillion years.
Yeah.
So a long time is very misleading for most people, because really a lifetime is nothing.
No, of course.
In comparison to 70 trillion years, it's not a beep. You cannot see it on any measuring device.
No, 100%. And if you look at a turtle, especially a South Polynesian Atlantic turtle, Indian Ocean turtle, they live for 300 years, and that's well over. That's 4 times the amount of a human, and that would be considered long. So it's all about perception there. it's a blink in history, really. Anything that human beings in this particular body have experienced, as it were.
Yeah.
So another question on sort of the visitors or the people that have or the things that have been here. Are there visitors? Are there flying saucers? This is a big. In fact, Gal and I posted pictures of flying saucers today on our little sort of advertising boards that we did for this very talk. So, flying saucers, the recovery of. Are they from elsewhere? Are they from here? Have we made them? Have we engineered this? Or have these come from distant stars in this galaxy or beyond?
Yeah. So first of all, there are flying saucers. There are different type of transport machines, and they're here. And the reason most of the time you don't see them, and the way that they are hidden and when they are not, it will explain why they are not, is because they are a second into the future from our viewpoint. The way that they've been hidden, all those flying saucers, etc., is that they're a second ahead. Now, because time perception, which is just a perception, and I don't want to get into the definition of time right now, but time for different beings pass in a different rate. Sometimes there are mismatching in the synchronization of time, and you see a flying saucer, and it will disappear. It will disappear the moment that the system will get back into sync. So the reason, it's not that they're not here, they're here all the time. They're just a little bit ahead of time.
Yeah.
Now, once you realize that, and for the military, I know for sure that knows that, because what you do, there are ways to manipulate time. There are ways to manipulate time. Most of the things that people think that are efforts to change the weather are not effort to change the weather. It's an effort to manipulate time. What you see, the spraying and the pieces of metal and and everything that people talk about, is really what you see is never what it is. If it was just changing the weather, okay, fine, it will be very easy, very obvious. It will. No, it's an effort to manipulate time in order to spot specific and to be in communication with specific beings.
Okay.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So interesting.
Yeah.
By the way, just one quick thing just before. Milana here said, talking about Russia, you mentioned Russia didn't, produce anything or whatever. So she said, actually, it was a lot of original inventions that came out from Russia. Please refer to Wikipedia. The problem is that they gave away their inventions, which ended up somewhere. Plus, they didn't monetize it for another reason. So I don't know.
I didn't say that the fact that they had to rape someone, you don't, like an engineer can be an engineer and still he can rape a lady or a man. So the fact that they needed to rape other countries is a fact. I didn't say that they are not smart, that they didn't invent stuff, that they didn't have a very good education system. They really were very good teaching the basics. There is a lot of plus point in Russia, but Russia did not survive because it had no more places that it can go and rape and take. And that's a fact. It's not an opinion. Otherwise, we would still have old Russia here.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't collapse because it was successful. So you can have all the inventions in the universe, but if you don't produce, never mind why. If you don't produce, which means you put your output is bigger than your input. If you don't produce, you'll get out of existence. And that's what happened to Russia. The output was bigger than the input. And the input that they had before was an artificial input. It's just like the Markabian doing, eating other planets. And in that case, the monetization is eating other countries.
Yeah, so 100%. She just said you're talking about military, which is different from civilians.
No, I'm not talking about military or schmilitary. I'm talking about the overall result. The overall result is Russia as a group. By the agreement, the fact that it happened is communism, Russia was only one thing. We survive by eating someone else. Why? Because when you take a group and you make the whole population into slaves, because what does it mean to be a slave? They're working against their will. Why do they work against their will? Because they didn't get paid based on the value. Everyone gets paid according to the ability. Karl Marx, yes? Doesn't work. Even China understood it. So it doesn't work. And that's why they had to. If you don't produce, you have to take investment and rape the money that you got from someone else. You have to take something in. Otherwise, you will not survive. This is just a basic law of this universe. If you do it by military force, if the population agree, military force mean people that agree to go to the military. It's the civilian. And if they in a group cannot have anything that they don't agree with. Why there's not many murdering cases in certain countries, and in other countries there are? Because in one country the group think that murdering is not so bad, and in another country the group say no, murdering is no, 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 no. You go to a country that is very religious, so I don't know, some behavior is no, 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 and because the group say no, it will never happen. So for something to happen in a group, the group have to agree to it, even if they say they don't.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Powerful. Okay, so we're running low on time, but Rikku, do you have any kind of final question? Obviously, we could talk for 5 hours, easy.
I do. I have. This is a subject that will go on forevermore, just like the universe. So Bob Lazar and Dr. Stephen McGree, Bob Lazar being the man who has claimed and has released sort of evidence on the dark web and what have you, that he has reverse engineered for the American and Canadian governments vessels that have brought alien life to Earth. What is your sort of thesis or hypothesis on it? Is it complete bullshit? Is it, is it real? Is it his perception of this real, but it may not be true? What is the underlying factor here?
We need to be much more specific, because otherwise, the general answer is anything that you did not discover to yourself is nonsense, is a lie.
It's just him saying it. You're just taking a person's word, right?
I did not discover it for myself.
Yeah.
Even if anyone that come and can tell me that, it will be useless for me, because anything that is not something that I'm the source of, even if I've learned it from you, if I don't make it my own, it's useless for me, because I'm an effect. And the spirit, for as long as it's an effect, it's not the spirit.
Okay.
So we need to be more specific. You can ask me about specific something, and I can give you the what I have as a knowingness, and give it to you in such a way that you can make it your own or not.
So would the question be, a better question be, have you ever seen or laid your hands on a unidentified flying object?
Yes.
Fantastic. Well, great answer. Right. Where do you go from there? And did it give you any feelings? Did you have an emotional response or a
feelings? A person creates his own feeling. When someone said that you piss me off, I ask him, where's the on-off button? Piss on, piss off. There's no such thing.
So did you turn on any?
They don't have this button of adjusting the feeling.
Yeah.
So you create your own feeling. So something don't give you feeling. That's number one. Okay.
So did you create any feelings when you came into
feeling? No, it's just I look at my computer. It's like, good. There's a computer. It's like nothing new. It's not something that I recall it and I seen it, and I've been in communication, and just computer, laptop, iPad, flying
Let,
sauce,
let me
wife,
ask a question about that.
maybe wife is
About, yeah, exactly. Let me ask a question about that. So if, for example, maybe it wasn't a feeling, but I can, for example, touch something and it's hot. So there's a sensation. Is there a sensation, for example,
you
from,
created that sensation, Babale.
okay, you still create the sensation.
Because one person touch something and he said, "Whoa, that's hot." Another person, if you're married, you know that the lady always cold and the husband is always hot.
True.
It's the same temperature in the room.
Or a chef, when you touch a hot plate, you call it a hot plate. I'm like, that's not a hot plate. Yeah.
Not
Yeah.
hot. It's not hot. Yes.
Yeah.
So it's just so all of those things is really just how programmed you are. How programmed you are. The truth is that any reaction to motion, which is emotion, or any reaction to motion, is your decision. And the lower you are in awareness, the more you will agree with the general population, and the higher you are, the less you agree. So a chef is in a higher condition in regards to cooking. So for him, nothing is a problem. It's easy. It's nothing. You take someone that just starting, for them everything is a problem. There's too much going on. It's too hot. It's too cold. I don't know. A lot of I don't know. A lot of I would try, but when he's cooking, there's no trying. He knows. He can create the most new, unbelievable thing. He knows it's 100%.
The odorism, which is there is no try, there is only do. Yeah.
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 Amazing. And then on the next note that we want to talk about, there's a webinar tomorrow, but Un Brasa asked here earlier, you mentioned past lives. How do you recall past lives and uncover memories, which is exactly
Exactly.
here.
Okay.
Tomorrow.
So this is what I'm going to teach tomorrow. I'm going to have a webinar. It's a free webinar. It's a preparation for a full seminar that I'm going to have in August 9 to
17.
Yes, August 9 to 17. It's going to be 7-day seminar. It's going to be live seminar. And in that seminar, I will get every single person in the room to learn how to contact past lives, how to check if it's really happened. Because let's say you contact past life, you should be able to go and check, is it there? Did it happen? Is there a person like that? And then once you handle past life, you will see that you will immediately be able to handle the body, because the body, while it seems that is just a combination of cells, if you will look, there is something that running this body. And this something that running this body is entities. And those entities, once you realize what they are, how they operate, etc., you will start to get control over the body. And instead of being a servant to the body, you will start to use the body. It's going to be mind-blowing. It's a first introductory webinar in a series that I will do that will explain more and more and more about what is past lives, what is life, what is past. How can you call the past a past when it didn't really pass? Still, it's still there.
Yeah.
So how it's not past? If it didn't pass, it's not past. Something not making sense here, etc., etc., etc. It will be mind blowing for sure, and yeah, you'll discover things you never thought even exist.
Yeah, and it's free. It's tomorrow, which is Wednesday, the 21st of June at 7 p.m. Eastern time. So you can go to gprosperity.com/event calendar. You'll see there on the event calendar, you'll see it says Wednesday, it says free past lives intro. You click RSVP and you can register. Put in your name and email and you're registered.
Yeah, be there. It's amazing.
Guys,
Say again?
I'm just going to plug my phone in because it's starting to
No problem.
dwindle, and I do not want to just
Disappear.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, but great.
Yeah, done in any case. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect timing. So we'll see everyone that's on here for tomorrow's free webinar. Rikku, thank you. That was amazing. Amazing.
thank you very much. Very enlightening and great to hear the perspective, for sure, or the truth, as it were.
Yeah. And
Thank
to be
you.
continued. We'll do more. We'll do more things together.
No, for
Very
sure.
nice questions. Very smart person. Very extremely smart you are.
Thank you, and you too. Wow.
Thank you.
But-
Not a mistake. You are where you are in your game. At
Thank
the
you,
top
thank
of
you.
the Well done.
Good evening, guys.
Thank you. Good
I'm going to
evening.
see you tomorrow because that sounds like it's going to blow my mind. So I'm definitely going to listen in.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Awesome.
Okay,
Great. We'll
bye
see you there.
everyone.
Good
All right.
evening.
Bye.
Bye.